the very first time that I went outside Brazil in the airplane, the lady, the flight attendant, she was, because I was sitting at by the emergency exit.
All right.
And then she came to me, she was trying to say something about, if like in case of emergency, you need to do this and that. And I thought I knew English and I couldn't, understand a little bit. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Sorry, like I couldn't understand anything. And she's like, oh, do you speak English? I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And then she made me move. She asked me to move and exchange seats with someone else because I wasn't able to understand her. And I mean,
I'm so glad you're here today talking in English because that sounds like a very embarrassing situation.
a little bit, a little bit.
Some people will just like refrain from sitting on those seats and will just maybe be traumatized by, oh my God, I couldn't understand the flight attendant.
But I think if I remember, no, I'm not sure. I don't think she put me by the window. No. But if she had put me by the window,
She would sit you by the aisle. That's
probably at the aisle, yeah. So I wasn't like lucky to get in one ICU.
It's funny you're mentioning about these experiences about understanding English. What I always say to people, I'm going to mention some examples about the cruise ship experiences, but you really need to make sure you are speaking an English that's good enough for people to understand you. And it goes to native speakers, because I've experienced in many situations native speakers talking on a table like this one we're talking right now, and we had people from all over the world, and people literally saying, "Excuse me, I'm not understanding what you're saying," because they come from different countries. Some of them come from countrysides, really small towns, where the accent is even stronger. So I can guarantee this is not something that native speakers have an upper hand.
Yeah.
We are maybe sounding even more clear to people who are learning a second language.
I guess so. And in my case, I of course, English is not my native language, and I have to think a little bit before I speak. Not that I'm translating in my head, but it's just like I need to have some time to form the words and like really think about what I'm gonna say. So that makes me speak a little bit slower than I normally would in my own mother tongue, right?
Yeah.
So that helps someone who's learning English to really understand what I'm saying, and because I'm not gonna be like rambling the words too much.
Yeah.
Even though I do that, I tend to do that, but probably much less than an American, person, for example.
Absolutely, yeah. We normally take some time to organize the ideas, but it's something that you can adjust according to who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And that's something we have this natural idea by doing this because it's not our first language. On the other hand, a native speaker possibly wouldn't have the same feeling because if it's that person only language, it wouldn't work because I'm just talking the way I always talk. You're supposed to understand me. That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess sometimes in the US, because they have so many foreigners there, it's not something new to them to have a foreigner. Here, I notice, at least I tend to do that. If I'm talking to someone a foreigner in Portuguese, and I know that Portuguese is not their first language, and they're still in the learning process, I tend to speak more clearly, a little bit slower, because we're not used to having that. And we know like Portuguese is not an easy language.
Yes.
But I guess for Americans, sometimes it's like, okay, it's every day they're there. There's a bunch of foreigners. They're used to it. It's not something new. It's not like they're going to really care as much, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying bullshit here, but I know that's my perspective on, and when I was there.
You're not. I guess you're just mentioning something that's cultural. We are a very welcoming, warming nation, and Brazilians in general are very welcoming to all foreigners. Um, and it's about the country's is specific, taboos. So, of course, if you have any kind of prejudice towards a specific group of people, maybe it can play some part of it. So people will be like, I'm not gonna spend my time talking to that person that I wouldn't like to be here.
Yeah.
It goes to this point of view sometimes.
Yeah.
But the idea of being helpful, it's greater, I believe. We have some people talk and refer to this like worldwide. The vast majority of people are trying to help. But of course, you're going to see some people that are not interested in talking to you if you're not speaking their language, which is natural. You just have to, keep the head up and move forward.
Move forward. Maybe try to find someone else to help you.
Of course.
If you're having some trouble.
Of course. Basic. Don't panic. Don't panic.
Yeah.